Happy Men's History Month. I gotta do this. Men history. I want to give you a men history moment. And this is about Booker T. Washington. And again, Booker T. Washington was black. He was born in slavery. He went on, amongst many other things, and founded a Tuskegee Institute. At one time was an amazing university down in Alabama, Sweet Home, Alabama. It's liberal now, so it's kind of messed up. But he didn't whine. He didn't blame the white man. He didn't beg for reparation or affirmative action or any of those things. And he didn't hate. He had no anger toward the white man or anyone. No one. I want you to watch this from Tuskegee Education, EDU. He was born, Booker T. Washington was born April 5th, 1856. Woo! A long time ago. He was born April 8th in 1856 in Franklin County, Virginia. Booker was the son of an unknown white man and Jane, an enslaved cook of James Burroughs, a small planter. Booker gave himself the surname Washington. Watch this from NETC TV.
My name is Booker T. Washington. I was born into slavery in 1856 in Franklin County, Virginia. After the Civil War, my mother, siblings, and I, along with many other slaves, were freed. I was 9 years old. This was one of the first obstacles I overcame in life. I went from being owned by another person to being a free man. You see, success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles in which he has overcome.
Deep.
After being free, we moved to Malden, West Virginia. I worked at a local mine, and I was allowed to attend school, but only after my work hours. While working in the coal mines, I overheard other workers speaking of this place, Hampton Institute. This was also known as Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute, which was a school for former slaves in southeastern Virginia. The school was founded by General Samuel Chapman Armstrong. The general led black troops for the Union during the Civil War and after was dedicated to educational opportunities for African Americans. I had the opportunity to attend in 1872 when I was 16 years of age. I was so grateful for this opportunity. I knew from a young age that a good, strong education was vital. I was a good student. I especially enjoyed public speaking and debate. I was provided a job as a janitor to pay for my room and board. I graduated with honors in 1875 and was chosen to speak at my commencement.
Amazing. Now, that's how blacks used to be in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men. They didn't whine about slavery. The white man owed me something. The white man this and the white man that. They didn't do it, folks. Blacks have changed to become nothing but whiners. This is from, that's amazing, right? This is from Britannica. In 1881, Washington was selected to head a newly established school at Tuskegee, an institute with no equipment, very little money. Tuskegee Institute became a monument to his life's work. So in this next video, you may recognize some of the familiar faces from previous Men's History Month moments. Watch this from NETC TV.
Well, I must have made a great impression on General Armstrong because after leaving Hampton, he recommended me for a position as principal of a new school for blacks in Macon County, the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute for the Training of Black Teachers. General Armstrong was a great man, the noblest, rarest human being it has ever been my privilege to meet. I arrived with great work ahead of me. There was no land, no buildings, and little to no money, except for salaries for staff members. I prepared to plan to make this school a reality. We succeeded in raising enough funds to purchase a 100-acre plantation on the outskirts of Tuskegee. The students built a kiln, made bricks for buildings to be built, and sold bricks to raise money. We successfully built classroom buildings, a dining hall, a girls' dormitory, and a chapel. We offered training in skilled trades such as carpentry, cabinet making, printing, and agriculture. We made an effort in academics to relate the subject matter to the actual experiences of the students, and our students flourished with this approach. By 1888, Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute had more than 400 enrolled students. I brought Dr. George Washington Carver onto the staff, who became the director of the agricultural program in 1896. We had transformed that 100-acre plantation into a 2,000-acre, 83-building campus with equipment, livestock, and stock-in trade. Training in 37 industries was available for more than 1,500 students enrolled at that time. In 1901, I was formally invited by President Theodore Roosevelt himself to dine in the White House. Now think about that. Do you realize I was the first black person to do so? Following, I was counsel to U.S. presidents for many years thereafter, and I took pride in that counsel.
Black excellence. Now that's black excellence. All this other mess that they call black excellence is mess. It's just mess. Amazing, huh? Amazing. That's what black people was in the good old days. The way blacks are today, whiners, beggars, and blamers, and having leaders and all that, that's not normal. That's the new black. That came as a result of the so-called civil rights movement. The worst thing ever happened to the blacks, other than abortion. So this is from Encyclopedia of Alabama.org. Acclaimed as a landmark autobiography, Booker T. Washington's Up From Slavery remain one of the most influential accounts of black life in the United States. Not the rewriting of black life. This is the real deal. And this is how black men and women dealt with it. When men were men, boys were boys, men were men, women were girls, were ladies, and then they became women. They wouldn't complain about racism and the white man or something. And my ancestor was enslaved. And even though they don't even know if they had one enslaved or not. I need some money. You need to give up. They weren't blaming the white man. They weren't fighting the white man. They weren't attacking him or anything. But Up From Slavery, I highly recommend you read it. It is a must-read by Booker T. Washington. It remains one of the most influential accounts of black life in the United States. In it, he wrote, "The thing to do when one feels sure that he has said or done the right thing and is condemned is to stand still and keep quiet. Don't overreact. Stand still and keep quiet. If he is right, time will show it." That's amazing. That's amazing. And this is from Take Charge MN. Booker T. Washington was the epitome of the American dream. Watch this from NETC TV.
The best way for me to sum up the wins and losses of my life and pioneering spirit of my efforts and success in technical education is simply this: nothing ever comes to me that is worth having except as a result of hard work. You see, I had a vision, a concept of practical, useful education for individuals to be successful and provide for themselves. I worked hard. applied myself, overcame many, many obstacles, and succeeded. I've learned success always leaves footprints. And oh, what a footprint was made on not only education of African Americans and technical education, but education as a whole. I am Booker T. Washington, hardworking, practical, educator, pioneer, mentor, and successful man in the field of education. Work hard, apply yourself, overcome obstacles, lift others up through mentorship, build a strong foundation for oneself, and succeed because I have paved your way.
Deep. Black excellence. Now that's black excellence. Begging and whining and blaming and wanting something for nothing. And want to lower the SAT scores and trying to fight to get into white schools, but you want to destroy them. That's not black excellence. That's a mess. I remember when I was in high school, our agricultural teacher would take the class to Tuskegee, would take us over there for like a week or so, I believe. And we would stay at the dorms and we would see and look around and see the greatness of Booker T. Washington. Really. I didn't live far from there. The school wasn't far from there. But it was amazing to look. I look forward to that every year. It was amazing. And so on my desk, I mean in my office, it's not on my desk, but in my office, someone sent me a photo of Booker T. Washington. And it says, character, not circumstances, make the man. Character, not circumstances, make the man. Booker T. Washington. Da-da! Amazing, huh? And look who's standing next to Booker T. Amazing! Amazing. Nice. So, in other words, ooh, I got to stand him back up. Okay. In other words, poverty does not cause crime, and I've been telling y'all that for years. Poverty does not cause crime. It's a lack of moral character. It's a lack of love. That's what called crime. Black people, the government has given them everything they asked for. They're fat as a pig, and yet they're whining. Yet they hate. It's amazing. Mind-blowing stuff, right? Happy Men's History Month. So the next time you hear a black or liberal white whining, talking about how bad it was for the blacks, the slavery, it's because of Jim Crow, it's because of racism, tell them to check out Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver and others, Justice Clarence Thomas, Walter Williams. There's so many examples. They weren't whining men, and they were black. Booker T. and George Washington were born in slavery.